Welcome back. In this video, we'll introduce one more component of SQL queries, the having clause. What's the having clause? It is the equivalent of where clause, but it is used to filter the output based on the results of the aggregate functions, while where is being used to filter individual rows. Let's take a look at a couple of simple examples. Let's say that we have this table. It has students, class, and grades. We want to compute the average grade per class. How do we do that? Well, we'll write select class, average grade from table 1, group by class. This query is going to compute the average grades for all the different class names. Now, let's say that we only want to keep classes that have an average grade above 15. The natural thing that you would try to do based on what we know already is to go and write something like where average grade greater than 15. Unfortunately, this will not work here. The where clause cannot filter the results using the outcome of aggregate functions. In fact, if you try to write a query that uses an aggregate function in where, you'll get back an error. That's why we have the having clause. The having clause is being used to filter the outcome based on the results of aggregate functions. So for example, to keep only classes with an average grade above 15, we add after the group by the having clause with a corresponding condition. This query will filter out the results of the group by and will not show, for example, the class history where the average grade is 14. Here is another example. We want to find students that take more than 2 classes. Let's see first the query that computes the number of classes per student. So it is select student ID, count from table 1, group by student ID. Simple. This query will give us back that student 1 takes 4 classes, student 2 takes 3 classes, and student 3 takes 1 class. Now we want to filter and keep in the outcome only students that take more than 2 classes. After the group by, we add the having clause saying having count star greater than 2. And this will filter out and eliminate students that take 0, 1, or 2 classes. This is the concept of having. Again, it is exactly the same thing as the where clause, but it is applied into aggregate functions only. Remember, the having clause appears after the group by and before the order by. In our next video, we are going to work on a few examples that involve the having clause. Until then, play around and practice. See you next time.